Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's DUBKDAD. Let's discuss Hieratics. If you guys get a chance, check out dubkdad1.blogspot.com. On my blog, I wrote up a little entry about some lessons I learned about the game, about Hieratics, but mainly about the game state in general, how to be a player. And I know you guys don't like to watch videos about me talking about that, so I'm going to just dedicate the lessons I've learned from respected players on my blog, and then keep the videos about the interesting things that you guys like to watch. But one of the things that I learned over the past week is how to is it's really hard to put this into words, but how to actually play the game. I mean, we all play the game, but play the game. I don't really know how else to say it. Right now, there's a bunch of fair decks in the meta. Surprisingly enough, Mermails is almost considered a fair deck. With the loss of the title, they only have one title now. The loss of Dragoons, they only have one Dragoons, only have one Diva. The deck can OTK, but it has to set up. I mean, of course, they can get those nutty hands and just poop on you, but that doesn't happen too often. So the deck has been relegated to actually a fair deck. Another deck that's surprisingly fair that it was explained to me is Prophecy. I used to be so afraid of that deck, but I had to realize the main threat in that deck is Spellbook of Fate, and now it's at 1, and you almost always know where it is and when they have it because they search it. So the card is no longer as scary as it used to be. Fire Fist are fair. They do fair things. Madolches are fair. Constellars are fair. And the only unfair deck, to be honest, is Hieratics. Dragons reign supreme, as always. Big badass dragons. So I want to deconstruct the deck a little bit and tell you guys how to play against it. I know that's counterintuitive to a person like myself who is an avid Hieratic player, but I just want to share this information with you guys, so we'll get into it. One of the scariest things about Hieratics right now is Heavy Storm is banned, and this combo right here has won so many games for me in the past, recently. If you guys like, I can start uploading DN duels and special Tefnuit, Wing Beat, Blow Out the Back Row is just devastating. And when the player sends all the cards to the graveyard, I see all these cards that could have stopped that play, and they just let it go. So I'm going to tell you guys how not to get wrecked by that play. A lot of decks are main decking these cards, and you can easily prevent yourself. First of all, you got to realize that Wing Beat, the Giant Dragon, the activation, the cost is not to bounce the dragon to your hand. There is no cost. That's all part of the effect. Bouncing to the hand and blowing up all the cards in the field are all part of the same effect. So if your opponent goes Tefnuit or random level 5 or higher dragon, then plays Wing Beat, I mean, how many decks are playing this card? Or these two cards? Or maybe this card? All these cards stop that play. They Wing Beat, you chain Book, chain Lance, chain Wind Blast, chain Regeki Break. The monster has to be face up on a field for the card to resolve with effect. You might feel dirty if you compulse it because they can just summon it again, and then hopefully God they don't have another Wing Beat. But I mean, if you have a Solemn Warning down, you want to protect that, or you want to save the Bottomless for the Attune, or maybe for the Sue when it comes down, then that might be your best bet. Compulse and then hit Bottomless on that, or wait for the Asset and Warning the Asset, or what have you. So that's how you do not get wrecked by Wing Beat. When it comes to your hand traps, it's just like last format when you had Dragoonity Rulers. Wait for them to consolidate for the Attune and Valor on the Attune. You have to be careful though, because you never know which variant people are playing. They could be playing the pure variant, and they have a fistful of Hieratics, and they can just play around and Dougie on you all day. But for the most part, Valor the Attune will slow them down. You know, they consolidate board Valor the Attune, and now they have to use additional resources to get anything out of you. At least you may not get OTK that turn. You have a fighting chance of coming back. But I believe that at least 2 Valor should be played here forward. I mean, we got the ARG Tennessee event coming up, and I just feel that Valor can be pretty vital there. The other card is Max C. There's 2 ways to play Max C. When I'm playing against Hieratics and they go Tefnuit, I'll play Max C right there. That pretty much acts as a threatening roar, simply because Tefnuit can't attack the turn. He's special summon, and if they summon Sue, special summon Sue, then you get a draw from Sue, and then you get a draw from the vanilla that comes from Tefnuit's effect. So that's 2 cards. Or the other play to do is let them go Tefnuit, let them drop Sue, and then they get the vanilla, you know, and then let them go on to the tomb, and then Maxi there. You can simply just Maxi an activation of Tefnuit if you want to try to bait them into your back row. The problem is, once they drop Sue, if you don't have a response to the summon, they might pop that vital back row. So, you know, just, if I were you, and people are going to say it's bad, but I mean, do you want to get OTK'd, or do you want a Crimson Blader? Hopefully your deck can make Crimson Blader. Do you want a Crimson Blader that Tefnuit? I would drop Maxi here and burn as many resources as I can to Crimson Blader the shit out of that Tefnuit. That's just me. Side deck, probably one of your best allies in the side deck, if you're not playing a light-based deck yourself, Light Mirror. Light Mirror stops all their effects, hands down. Unless they're playing pure version, they have access to Exabeetle or maybe Adrius. But Exabeetle, Adrius, they're only monster-based outs. If they can somehow make Scrap Dragon in the pure version, then they have Scrap Dragon. But against the pure version, this wrecks the deck straight up. You know, so their outs are, you know, Sue, activate effect, and then use Lance to pop your mirror. If they're popping mirror, then they're not popping any of the other back rows you control. And then you just flip the second mirror, or, you know, you wait for the Attune, and then bottomless the Attune, book the Attune, warning the Attune, or what have you. So, those are just some of the things that I want you guys to be looking out for this weekend. I think the next YCS is the following weekend or the weekend after that. I think this deck is going to catch fire. There's so many different ways to go with the builds. The deck is super explosive. It's super consistent. People are realizing that you do not have to play the YOLO TK, Paul Cooper, Swag Addicts type build. And as successful as that build is, and as much of my boy Paul Cooper is, that deck can brick. And if you don't think that it bricks that often, message Paul Cooper and ask him, about some of his losses. So a lot of his losses are just bricking. And, just the Hieratic ruler version can OTK, maybe not as flashy, but it can OTK just as often. And when the OTK fails, you're not going to be able to get back because the deck has incredible staying power. Well, these are just my thoughts. If you guys like to hear more about how to play with the deck, play against the deck, I'm all up for it. Just leave your comments down below, and I appreciate it. DUBKDAD, and I'm out.